going to do the notes for comparing numbers in scientific notation. So we've already done scientific notation, and we've already done comparing and ordering decimals and numbers. So we're just kind of combining two things today. We're combining, comparing, and ordering. So there are two different ways to do this. First way to do it is to convert the numbers into standard notation, which is what we've been doing with moving the decimal, and then compare them. So my first question says identify two numbers that are less than 3. So I'm going to make them all into standard form, and then I'm going to decide which ones are less than 3. So first thing I'm going to do is highlight all my exponents. They remind me how many times to move the decimal. This is a -2, so I know I'm going to move left. 5.612. There's that number. This one's going to the right. This is 29. To the right again. 106. And this one is going to the left. Remember that decimal starts after the 3. Moved it 6 times. Okay. So now I'm looking at the question again. Two numbers that are less than 3. 0.056. That's less than 3. 29. That's greater than 3. 106. That's definitely greater than 3. And this really, really tiny number here is less than 3. So those are my answers here. Two numbers that are less than 3. Let's look at the next one. Select all numbers that are greater than 4. Alright, so now I'm doing greater than. So a little switch of the brain there. And when it says select all, that's kind of a key term to tell you there are going to be more than one answer. It doesn't tell you how many, but you know you should have more than one when it says select all. So again, I'm going to highlight my exponents here. Okay. And here we go, moving once. One time. So this is 30.04. This one moves 0 times. So this one went right. If it moves 0 times, it means I don't have to move it at all. Also, we know anything to the 0 power is 1. So 10 to the 0 equals 1. And 1 times 3.76 is just 3.76. So I didn't have to move it at all. This one is negative, so I'm going left. Oops, that's a 9. I'll write it one more time so you can see it. There we go. And 2 times to the right. 1, 2. Alright, now I need two numbers that are greater than 4. 30.04, that's bigger than 4. 3.76, that's less than 4. 0.0004996, that's less than 4. 565.7, that's greater than 4. Alright, let's look at the next one. So this one is you want to order the numbers in decreasing order. And decreasing order is greatest to least. So we're going big to small here. So the first thing, again, that I want to do is I want to make everything into standard notation. Then I'm going to stack up my numbers, because that's how we compare. So let's make them all into standard first. This is moving 6 times to the right. Okay, so this is 800. 0.06000. And remember the decimal point is there. Next one. -3, so I'm going left. So I'm going to line up my decimal points. So here's the decimal for this one, and it's 00912. Okay, so I'm lining up the decimals here. A little highlighter there. Let's see. Just like when we stacked for comparing and ordering decimals earlier this year, I'm going to stack up the decimal points as I go. So here's 5 times 10 to the negative first. Decimal starts here, moving 1. So this one is 0.5. And my last one here, 1.44, is moving 3 to the left. 1, 2, 3. So decimal point 0.00144. Okay, so I'm going to fill in some zeros. I'm going to use a different color just so you can see that I'm filling these in. These weren't part of my original number. Okay, so that makes them all the same length here. So I'm going biggest to smallest. It does want greatest to least. So I can easily see that this is going to be my biggest number. So I'm going to number that. That's number 1. That's my biggest one for sure. Now I'm looking at these 3. So I've got 0.0, 0.5, 0.0. Looking for the biggest, 0.5. Okay, now between the next two, 0, 0, 0, 0. So I have to keep looking to the right to the next digit. 009, 001. 9's going to be bigger, making this number 4. So my last step on these problems is to rewrite my order, writing them back in scientific notation. So I'm going to write this one first. So that was this. Okay, number 2 is here. Number 3, that was this one. And number 4 is this one. This is how an answer choice would be. So it's important to know that you have to write them back in that original form. All right, let's flip to the back. All right, now I'm going to show you the second way to do this. I'm about to blow your mind. So the second method here is to compare the numbers by looking at just the exponents. Just the exponents. I'm going to show you what I mean by that because it's actually a lot easier. So which of the following is ordered correctly from least to greatest? So least to greatest, I'm going small to big. So I want to look for my numbers small to big. So I'm going to highlight all my exponents here. There are all the exponents. So in this one, I have 4, 1, negative 2. I'm looking from small to big. So what I'm going to put here is just something to help. Alright, so this is our vertical number line. Remember, we get smaller as you go down. So if I start here, I'm at 4, and then I'm at 1, and then I'm at negative 2. I'm decreasing. I'm going from big to small here. So that is not ordered from least to greatest. That's ordered greatest to least. This next one, 1, negative 2, and 4. 1, negative 2, that's decreasing, and then back up to 4 is increasing again. That's not least to greatest. Let's look at this one. Negative 2, 1, 4. These exponents are increasing, and that's what I'm looking for, least to greatest. So I didn't even look at the numbers. All I looked at was the exponents. And you could work this out if you needed to, but this is an easy way to do it. Let's look at the next one. This is the only part where it's a little more complicated. So if the numbers have the same exponent, you want to compare the first numbers. So let's look at these. ascending order, which is least to greatest. So I'm going to get my exponents here. Alright, I notice I've got 2 3's as exponents and 2 that are -2. So I know -2 is smaller than 3. So if I'm going least to greatest, I want to start with the smallest. So if I look here, I'm starting with the smallest. I'm looking at a -2 and a -2. So -2 and -2 are the same, right? Those are equal. So what I'm going to look at next is I'm going to look at this first digit to see which one's going to be smaller. So 2 and 4, 2 is smaller than 4, so this is going to be my first one, making this my second one. Now some people say, well, Miss Smith, if it's a negative, wouldn't the bigger digit be smaller? Because as we go down the number line, the digits get bigger, but the numbers are smaller. So you could check yourself here. If you were confused on that, I could do the 2.7 times 10 to the -2, 1, 2, and the 4.3 times 10 to the -2. So when I have a negative exponent, it doesn't make the number negative. It just makes the number smaller. It's just moving the decimal point, and it's making the number smaller. So if the number was smaller to begin with, and I'm making it smaller still, it's going to still be smaller than the other one. Now let's look back at these. So these both have an exponent of 3. So I have to compare that first number again. A 2 or a 3. Well, I know 2 is smaller than 3, so this must be number 3, leaving that to be number 4. So let's write them out, because I'm going to write them out in that scientific notation again. Let me move this up a little bit for you. Alright, so I have 2.7 times 10 to the -2nd, 4.3 times 10 to the -2nd, 2.2006 times 10 to the 3rd, and 3.65 times 10 to the 3rd. And those are in order from smallest to biggest. Okay, last one. Which of the following is not a true statement? Not a true statement. Okay, so we have to be careful here because this is a not statement. This is not. So if I look at these, -2, -2, 1, 8, -2, -2, -2, -3, -4. Okay. Just looking at my orders here. So this one is saying the -2 is less than -2 is less than 1. So these both have the same exponent, so I'm going to see if these are actually in the right order. So if I look at the 1 and the 4, 1 is smaller. So if I ordered these from least to greatest, it would be 1, 2, 3. So those are in the correct order from least to greatest. So it is true. And I'm looking for not true, so this is not my answer. Let's look at the next one. -8, -2, -2. Okay, so now I need to look at my first numbers again. So I know -8 is going to be the smallest. Oh, they're both 1s. So I look at the next number, 4 and 5. 4 is smaller than 5, so this is going to be my second one, and that would be my third one. Making this also true, so it is not my answer. Now we know the third one's got to be the answer, but let's look at it anyway. This one says -3, -2, -4. Okay, so this one is actually ordered greatest to least. So this would be my smallest. This would be my second smallest. This would be my third smallest. So it's just asking if they're in the right order. Okay, so this is saying if I've got my -2 is less than -3 is less than -4. But that doesn't make sense because if they were less than, this one would be first, then that one, then that one. So this one is the one that is false, making that the answer to my question for which is not true. So that one's a little bit tricky. Okay, you have to pay attention that this says not. This is not true. Because it's really easy to look at this first one and say, oh, that's a correct answer. Because it is correct. It's written correctly, but it wants you to find the one that is not written correctly. So again, this is comparing and ordering notes in scientific notation.